Welcome back to Live What You Love. So we got the ballista reverse here. Today I want to do kind of a curiosity test. So there's 3 different bolts that you can get with this thing. One is called your entertainment bolt. It's kind of these reddish ones with the red fleshings. Those are going to be your lightest. You just kind of shoot around the yard, shoot into targets, that kind of stuff. But they're not for hunting. And then you have your sting bolts, and those come in kind of 2 variations. They're 13 inches long, and they're called sting bolts. Now, standard, they come with aluminum inserts, but you can also kind of swap out the aluminum for steel inserts. Now, all 3 of these bolts have different weights. So the first thing we're going to do is weigh all 3 of them, get a consistent weight, and then we're going to shoot each one through the chronograph, record the speed in feet per second. We know the weight in grains, and I want to see how much the energy of the projectile changes depending on these 3 weights. So first off, let's go ahead and get the weights. Okay, so the first one, these are the entertainment bolts. These are gonna be the lightest ones that we're using today, right at 151. And I'll measure the other one just for consistency, 152. So I'll say 152. Now the next one, these are just standard 13-inch long sting bolts with aluminum inserts and 100 grain screw-in field tips. Getting 250. See the other one? FOC is crazy on these. 252, we'll go with the higher number. So aluminum 252. And uno más. These are very, very, I mean, it's ridiculous how front weighted these are. The steel. 331. Let's do the other one too. Let's go with the higher number, 331. Okay. Now, let's do the speed test. Entertainment bolt, shot number 1. Golly, packs a punch. 318. Aluminum, test 1. Golly. 261. Moving on to the heaviest. We got the steel inserts, 13-inch sting bolts. See what we get. That just sounded powerful. 232. Okay, so conclusion is more weight is going to slow it down, but if you look at this equation, the squared matters more. So it does increase. So you go from 46 joules using an entertainment bolt, which is still legal to hunt deer with, all the way up to 53.5 joules by adding, let's see, how much weight did we add? We pretty much doubled the weight and then added 30. So we went from 152 grains to 331 grains. Now you know. I was thinking about it, and what we just calculated is like initially right out of the projectile what the joules are, right? But these bolts are going to slow down at different rates. So if you look down range, what we ended up doing is this is a 20-yard range, and we got the chronograph down 20 yards away. So I'm going to shoot the bolts from here, and we're going to calculate the speed, or the amount that the speed is decreased as it passes through that chronograph and hits that target. And then we're going to calculate the actual energy that it would be hitting an animal at 20 yards with, because that's a much better measurement and much more useful than just initially out of the projectile, like muzzle velocity type thing. Okay, so this is kind of the column that we're going to be using for this. So at 20 yards, the chronograph is set at 20. We've got our entertainment, aluminum, steel. We're going to be calculating the new feet per second at 20 yards, and then we'll calculate the new joules for each of those. Okay, first we're going to start with entertainment. Okay, 306. Okay, so from entertainment, initial speed was 318, 306. We only lost 12 feet per second for 20 yards. That is not bad. Now, let's go to aluminum heads. Okay, 254. Initially, wow, it barely lost any speed. 261, from 261 to 254, so we only lost 7. So the heavier ones tend to hold their speed a little bit better. Now let's see if that continues for the steel. We got one more. And 229. Okay, 229 feet per second for that last one. Our initial speed with the steel was 232. We only lost 3 feet per second on that one. So heavier maintains its energy way better. Let me take care of these energy calculations real quick and I'll show you the exact differences. We lost 4 on the entertainment bolt. We lost from 51 to 48.9, which is pretty much 49. So we lost 2.5 on the aluminum bolt. And then we went from steel having 53 joules down to 52. We lost like 1.5. So the more weight seems to be the better. If you guys haven't checked these out, these are amazingly powerful for their size. Very, very surprising. They can do some damage. I'll have a link in the comments or description or something like that. If you have any questions about this, drop it down below and I'll answer it as best I can. I hope this was informative and of course, always remember, live what you love.